Hey, this ain't a drill. Only time I plan is on the field. And when I'm on the field, no, I got mad skills. And you know we bout to eat this a fast meal. Y'all gotta pay for this heat like a gas bill. We keep on coming back, so yeah, they mad still. 716 make them pay me some bad bills. Red, white, and blue like Superman, so you know we eating at the Super Bowl. Kill the competition, set up the funeral. Josh Allen catching all the shots you go for. We callin' blitz. Ready to start, we ain't calling no quits. I'm the #1 draft pick. A lot of y'all talk, but I ain't hearing it. Only listen to Keyshawn and Talk about the Bills dominating on the field. All our players got them skills. Buffalo gon' make a kill when we talk about the Bills dominating on the field. And our players got them skills. Buffalo gon' make a kill.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the live version of the Post Podium Podcast. Home of the All Truth, No Sodium Takes. Today's a good day for no sodium, right? We are short a team member. I'm your co-host Aramis, and we got Mac in the house. Big boys. I love it. Yeah, Key's under the weather today. They've been running them ragged at the Hammond house. So, shout out to Ken and T. Thank you for wearing them out. With that said, let's dive right into stuff we heard. Do you have anything that you heard? You got a couple stuff. I love it.
I don't know how big. I want to know if you think this is big or is it going to play a role in the Super Bowl.
Okay.
You hear about Pat Mahomes' dad?
No.
He got pulled over for DWI, bro. Yeah.
So you think Mahomes is going to start trying to make the 49ers pay for that?
I don't know, man. Like, I don't know if it's going to affect him like this because his dad is not really him. It's not really the game. But you know how, like, there's stuff about your family in the media, like, it messes with your head. Like, you think about it,
Ooh.
say what they going to think. So,
And he's big on that too. Like he's hard on his wife for keeping saving the face of the Mahomes brand.
remember when his brother used to act stupid at the games?
Yeah.
On his brother. So now I don't know. I don't know if it's gonna play it. I'm interested to see if it's gonna play a role in the Super Bowl, like in his head while he's playing the game. Like, can he like tune all that out and just focus on the game?
Yeah.
Or is that gonna be like bothering the back of his head, like, man, pops, you're here making trouble for me, man. It's not a good look, bro.
You know what? It is interesting because we haven't seen anything like this happen during the Super Bowl for him, right? And regular season is different. The only thing that I think people can say to that is there hasn't been anything at all that has gotten in his way. That this might be the biggest scandal he's faced. And that's really, to his credit. You know what I mean? This might be the biggest scandal that he's faced in his football career going into any game. You know what I mean? Not just the way his brother behaves, not the stuff between him and his wife, not the comments about Taylor Swift and all that kind of stuff. But it'll be interesting to see if that affects him. This is another neutral site game for him, and I'm sure there's going to be a little bit of a slant just because Taylor Swift is on their side and all that kind of stuff. But no, that'll be something to look at. What else you got?
So Pro Bowl. So those of you who watch the Pro Bowl, I watched it. It's okay. It's not like it used to be back in the day, but I like what they're trying to make it better. Like, bro, they added Madden to the joint. They got a straight up Madden segment between NFC and AFC. So they got Madden. They got all the little side games and the skills. But I think if they should really wanted to market on the Pro Bowl and make people interested and like watch the Pro Bowl like we did back in the day, they gotta add more stuff that we want to see. Like, dude, give me the fastest man. Like, I want to see the fastest man. I want to see who could chuck the ball the longest, like the quarterbacks. Like, it was the longest pass because everybody keeps saying Pat Mahomes could throw just as hard as Allen. Allen, we know he got an arm, but I want to see, like, throw the ball, who could throw the ball the longest. You know what I'm saying? Like, stuff like that I think it would add to the Pro Bowl and make people want to watch it.
Okay, real quick. Oh, okay. Okay, see, y'all can hear him now. Okay, yeah. But
I was out.
Yeah. So I don't know if you want to go back over that. I had a few people say they couldn't hear you. Maybe it was just the cord not being fully plugged plugged in or whatever. But thank y'all for letting me know. So you, I'm sorry, go over that again.
So the Pro Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
Those of you who watched it, like I like it. I like what they're doing with it, but they haven't got it right yet because they still didn't get a lot of viewers or a lot of people watching it. But I like what they're adding to it. So right now it's flag football, right? So it's no more helmets, it's no more full contact. It's flag football, and the relevance is that's about to be a sport in the Olympic Games, right? So they about to do the flag football in the Olympics, which is cool. But they're adding Madden to the Pro Bowl. They're adding they got the skill competition. I think they can make it a little better. Like I said, I don't know if you guys heard me. I want to see the fastest man. I want to see that like they did back in the day. I also want to see the longest pass.
Yeah, they did take that away. Yeah,
give me the people who say they could throw the ball longer or they got the arm. Prove it. Put it on show. See who really got the longest pass. Who could really chuck it the longest, man. You know. I would love to see them add more stuff to it, and I think they should go like basketball and hockey, man. Make it a Friday, Saturday, Sunday thing. They had one event on Thursday, then they had another one on Sunday. So they didn't do nothing on Friday and didn't do nothing on Saturday. But if you want to make it marketable, like NFL, you want to make it marketable, you want people to see it, do it all weekend and have events that everybody could like and join in on, man. They could be entertaining. That's what it's all about. It's the entertainment factor. You got to put them boys on the spot, man. And another thing too, with basketball and hockey, for the NFL, only people who go there are the people who were the Pro Bowl, the selectees, right?
Yeah.
But they don't have to necessarily participate in the game. They ain't got to play the Pro Bowl game, but they can go to the skills competition. You know what I'm saying? Have all the NFL just show up there and compete. If you want to compete, kind of like the dunk contest. You want to compete in the dunk contest? You ain't got to be an all-star to do it. Right. You can sign up. I want to do a dunk contest, or I want to put me in the three-point contest. Same thing. Put me in the fastest man competition, or put me in the longest throw, or the kickers. They used to have the precision one when they got to hit certain things off the upright. Make it more competitive to the fans want to see. People talk all the time they the best at this, or they the best at this. Prove it. Here's your opportunity to prove it. Yeah. You're going against the best of the best.
No, that's a great point because I'll be honest, I didn't watch, like I told you, I didn't watch all the skills competitions when they came out. I just watched on YouTube and just kind of breezed through a bunch of them. And I don't even think I watched every last one that they held. I watched a little bit. The longest I think I watched was the dodgeball game.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Just because you kind of, but even when they got past the first round and they switched over to the NFC defense versus the AFC offense, I'm all right, let's get to the end and see who wins. So I just grabbed that scroller and scrolled across. Yeah. But do you think we'll eventually get to that point? Because the way they've kind of changed from the traditional Pro Bowl game to now the skills competition, it does seem like they've taken some notes from the NBA and the NHL and stuff like that.
Yep. I can see it getting there. How long it'll take for them to get there, I don't know.
Yeah,
because the other thing is you got to have buy-in for the rest of the teams. Because unlike the other sports, we know the Super Bowl is next week, so there's no San Francisco 49ers there. There's no Kansas City Chiefs there. That's two teams with great players that's not even going to show up because they're in the Super Bowl. Where you got NHL and NBA, they do it in the middle of the season, so you ain't got to worry about getting hurt for the championship or something like that.
Yeah.
So I don't know, man. I would like to see them. Make it more marketable for everybody to watch it and so we can get them ratings up, man. Because football, you think about it, Super Bowl is the most watched sport in the United States, man. So
in the world. Well, soccer.
You got the soccer,
yeah. I'm sorry.
Soccer got the world one, but USA definitely football all day long, Super Bowl all day long. Even though hockey, baseball, they got the series, it's still everybody watching that Super Bowl. And maybe because it's only one shot, you only got one game, so everybody's tuning in. You can miss a couple series in basketball, especially if it's a 7-game series. You don't necessarily need to see the first or second game. I mean, people want to watch it, but you got time to catch up and watch it, especially when they crown the champion. So you're at least 4 games in, but
yeah. Lindsay, I was hoping to do a little bit more of stuff we heard before I got to this, but the way you connected it, I just can't resist. Lindsay goes, speaking of Pro Bowl, what's going on with Diggs? I mean, it's okay. So I titled the episode can we stop already? Can we just stop already, right? So I'll ask you what you think about this, because my take on it has been the Keyshawn says blasphemy. My take on this has been, we know the cap situation, right?
Right.
We know the Bills obviously have the opportunity to communicate with Diggs and see if they can restructure his contract to open up some more salary cap space, right? That does not, however, relieve the Bills of any dead cap penalties if they trade him or release him.
Right.
And I think that's what people are missing. People hear the restructure. Whatever team trades for Diggs would have to be willing to take on more of his contract in order for the Bills to really get some relief from that contract.
Absolutely.
And when you match that prospect of a team taking all of his contract or most of his contract, or even just a small piece of his contract, because teams don't have to do that, right? If they want to be nice and they really want the player, then they'll do that. But in turn, that often means you're gonna get a lower round pick for that, right? But as someone who appreciates Diggs the way that you do, and obviously the way we know Keyshawn does, what do you think about the prospects of that?
Me personally, I don't read too much into it. I get it, I know what he said, but he keeps stuff close to the vest.
Yeah.
Right? He's not gonna put everything out there for people to look at or to talk about. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, I think Diggs is content staying here, even if it's just another year, maybe 2. But I see both sides. I could see him getting tired and yo, I really want this ring. So if he feels like he's not gonna get it in Buffalo, it's not far-fetched for me to see him go somewhere else to try to get that ring. However, right now, I think he's cool right now. You know what I'm saying? I think he's cool. Of course, he's keeping the possibilities open because anything can happen. But I think right now, he's, as far as from what he's concerned, I think he's cool with still being here.
Yeah. And here's the other thing too, and I some of you guys might not like how this sounds, but it's not like Steph Diggs has had the kind of season where everybody would come running for him.
That's true.
Right? He's 30 years old now. He's had the birthday party already. That's over with.
Yeah.
Right? So everything from this point on is Diggs being on the wrong side of 30. Most teams typically don't trade high draft picks for that kind of player at 30, unless they're a team that's like the Chiefs.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And obviously, if the Chiefs come calling, Bills ain't answering that door. I just can't believe that the Bills and Sean McDermott would just be like, Andy Reid, you know what? I'll take the trade, bro. You can have our best receiver.
Give him to your enemy, yeah.
Yeah, I can't see that happening. No. Chris, what's going on, bro? I wanted to get back to what Outside Looking In said. He said, I miss seeing the different helmets on the team.
Yeah.
That's a big deal. Yeah. I think they could go to wearing their jerseys. You know what I'm saying? Whoever the home team is going to be, they wear their color jerseys, and the other team, because the whole T-shirt thing where one team is wearing white T-shirts, and the other one, that's stupid to me.
So yeah, I saw that. The AFC, they had all their colors, and then the NFC just had the white, and I'm like, I get it for flag football because it's mad. Everybody's different colors. You got to know who's who, but at the same time, man, the helmets was cool.
Yeah.
Or even the jerseys, everybody wear they jerseys, so you know who's who and stuff like that.
That's what I'm saying. If you got a team that's wearing all their away jerseys, all of them are going to be white, pretty much. You know what I'm saying? Right. And then all the color jersey. Right. It's like playing pool. You know what stripes are. You know what solids are. Yeah. But yeah, actually, I'm sorry. Boz writes in, Commanders Eric Bieniemy out in Washington.
Wow.
Yeah. So they hired Cliff Kingsbury.
Did he quit or he got fired?
Well, they hired Dan Quinn and didn't choose to retain Eric Bieniemy.
Oh,
right.
Okay.
So
okay.
Cliff Kingsbury had an interview with Washington and one other team that was reported, and I guess he ended up signing with the Commanders, which in turn obviously means Bieniemy's out.
Wow.
But there's been a lot of people saying, well, Bieniemy should come here. Bieniemy, he should want to work with Josh Allen. He should this and that. I'm like, first of all, and I used the word demotion, which probably wasn't the best word because I got some clapback for that. But I think the point still stands. For Eric Bieniemy to come here, it would be a major step down from the position that he's held over the last 5 years. If he wasn't the offensive coordinator with the Chiefs, he was still at the top of that list because after Nagy left, it was Bieniemy, right? So, if I'm looking at what opportunities exist here for Bieniemy, we already have a passing game coordinator, right? We have a senior offensive assistant in Mike Shula, and our OC is Joe Brady. Yeah. What the heck is Bieniemy going to do? Come here and do?
Yeah. I don't see him. I would love to have him on the squad, but not in the capacity. Like, if he comes here, he's going to want to be an OC, right?
If not an assistant head coach.
Right. Why would you want anything less based off his career and what he's done? Why would you want anything less? You know what I'm saying? Like, I get it. Yeah, you get to play with Josh Allen, but nah. Like, I think he rather get this position that he's looking for somewhere else.
Yeah,
I'm interested to see where he go now, man.
Yeah. Well, I don't think anybody else has any.
Is there any a need for or is there people who want to upgrade their offensive coordinator?
I want to see who the Seahawks have at that position because that might be a good landing spot for him to go with the Seahawks.
With DK?
Play with DK, Tyler Lockett. Yep. They got, and those are downfield pieces too. They could definitely run their air raid. Let me see the Seahawks. So while I'm doing that, we got a couple of comments. Keyshawn says he says the same thing every year. It's a non-story. yeah. I mean, that's the same sentiment all around from this side of the screen. Lindsay writes in, I feel the same. Sports media is blowing the Diggs story out of proportion again. It seems to be like one of the sexiest things to talk about. Oh, yeah. During the off season is whenever a player deletes their Instagram and goes into radio silence or
what does that mean?
Yeah, and everything about Diggs has been cryptic from the start, right? Here's an interesting take, and I feel like the comments might blow up after this. When we look at Stefon Diggs's career production, is his production mostly the result of in Minnesota playing across from Adam Thielen? Or was it because of his own capabilities as a number one receiver, right? And so that's a two-part question. So you can answer that one first, and then the second question is Diggs's career here, is he a number one receiver because he's been the only real receiver that can run all the routes and beat man coverage on a consistent basis, right? And I'll preface all this by saying this. I don't want to sit here and say that he's not a number one, but when you think about all of the dominant number ones in the league, all of them have a certain level of athletic ability to where they can win in almost the same way that a Travis Kelce can win. They can jump over you, they can body you, they can catch the ball in super tight coverage, they can catch the ball with a man all over them, and it seems like this year and maybe the end of last year, that aspect to Diggs has kind of fallen off greatly. We saw Diggs do a lot of that in 20 and 21, and then since then, I don't know if it's him protecting his body or whatever the case may be, but when he's not making those kind of plays, it kind of seems like that takes away from his wide receiver one status. What do you think?
Yeah. So first about Minnesota, I think it's a combination of what you said being actually three combination. One, you on the opposite side of Adam Thielen, who's a great route runner in his own right and a good wide receiver. Two, he was in a run-heavy offense to where they like to run the ball more than usual, right, or more than we do. And the quarterback, I want to say didn't he have Bridgewater back then? Was it Teddy B back then?
For
Minnesota?
When he played there,
Who's the QB there?
yeah, they did have Bridgewater, but they also had let me look up their coaches.
Because I don't think, granted, whoever he had, it wasn't, I don't think they were an elite quarterback. You know what I'm saying? To like Josh's level or Mahomes or Lamar's level.
Yeah.
That greatly affects it too. But, yeah, I think it's a combination of all three, man. The quarterback, Adam Thielen, the opposite side, and the fact the focus was the heavy run scheme.
Okay.
And then when he got here, I don't know. Like I kind of look at Stefon Diggs when he first got here. He reminded me of Amon-Ra St. Brown.
Diggs?
Yeah, because both of those receivers, they kind of run the same type of route tree, and they move them around. Like sometimes they're on the outside, sometimes they move them in the slot, and they got the same type of skill set. They're good route runners with average speed, and they got hands.
Yeah.
But neither, like you to your point, they're not really leaping over dudes and bodying dudes to get the ball. It's just they run precise routes, and they're open, and they get that space. And that's where they kill you. They kill you in that space.
Right.
Versus like right receivers like your Devontae Adams, your DK Metcalfs, you know what I'm saying? Your big body receivers who can do all that. You know what I'm saying? Like one thing about Devontae Adams, man, I don't know how he do it, man. I seen this dude catch passes triple team,
Right.
triple team. Like it's not a oh well.
DeAndre
he coming down with the
Hopkins
ball.
did it to us.
D-Hop too, like
Yep.
that's crazy. Like so certain wide receivers, they got them skills. I never really saw that in Diggs and then I'm St. Brown, but given in their system, they can still be dominant. As you can see, Diggs, he still get the catches. He still get the yards. I'm around St. Brown. I had him in fantasy, bro. He was killing it.
Yeah.
Killing it. But like I said, he's not that type of receiver to muscle you out of the ball and get jump passes. He's gonna hit you with them precise routes. He's gonna get open, get space, and he's gonna catch the ball.
Yeah. Yeah. And that kind of and I think that kind of explains where I put Diggs on my all-time Bills roster. And we'll get to that a little bit later. Vikings quarterbacks that Diggs might have played with: Kirk Cousins, Teddy Bridgewater, and Case Keenum. I think are the three that he probably played with.
Yeah.
I think Kirk Cousins might have been.
Was that his first year?
No, that might have been his last year. I think he probably played more with Teddy Bridgewater and Case Keenum than Kirk Cousins.
Yeah. Because Kurt, out of the three, Kurt is definitely the best.
Yeah, absolutely.
The best out of there.
So I mean, it's tough. It's tough, and so I think the point of me asking that. No, Boz, not Pittsburgh. If you're talking about Bieniemy, they have Arthur Smith. Keyshawn's got like 10 dots. I'm sorry, Key. I'm sorry. I had to ask the question. You know, I like to push the envelope from time to time. Lindsay goes Keenum. Yep. Cousins. Yep. Lindsay said, "Yeah, the Minnesota Miracle." Right. That was Diggs.
Yeah.
I don't know if anybody saw like the Stefon Diggs ESPN commercials before that, but those are pretty funny too. That was one of the things that helped Diggs make his name. You remember what I'm talking about? You seen them joints? Yeah. It was pretty funny. Like anything he did, his hands was like sticking to stuff and couldn't get it off. It was pretty funny. Yeah. Rich writes in, McDermott will get Diggs on the right track. By doing what? By doing what? He wasn't. Listen, Sean got spanked by Diggs and his team in this past offseason and was forced to apologize or recant whatever he said about Diggs. So Diggs' contract right now is the heaviest thing. And I mean, we've seen Sean try to contend with that and lose. So, you know, I respect that you're trying to get me started already on the show, Rich, but I need you to focus more on getting over here and fixing my computer so I can give you some money. Anyway, yeah, 2019. Right. Keyshawn writes in, yep, 2019. Okay. So, if we don't, because we've kind of addressed everything that I wanted to address with the Diggs situation. Did you have anything with the Diggs situation?
Not with Diggs, but going back to the Pro Bowl, we kind of talked about this offline a bit, but
Yeah.
I can't remember ever seeing Pat Mahomes or Josh Allen ever participating in any Pro Bowls.
No, they refuse. They refuse.
So to me, when I see that, and we kind of talked about like offline, like if you're in a Pro Bowl, that means you're not somewhere where you're supposed to be, right? That means you're not where you want to be if you got to go to the Pro Bowl, because that means you're not in the Super Bowl. And I think those quarterbacks, Josh and Pat Mahomes, I think they pride themselves so much and they want it so bad that they're not gonna participate in something that, especially to me, it would assume that they're playing in their failure.
Mm-hmm.
Because like I said, I'm the top quarterback in the Pro Bowl. That's not what I want. I don't want that. Yeah, the acknowledgement is cool that you think I'm a pro and I'm the best in my conference,
mm-hmm.
but I want the Super Bowl.
Exactly.
And if I'm not playing in the Super Bowl, I'm not showing up. That's not what I want. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like putting on those hats. Oh yeah, we won this. That's not what I want, man. That's not what I'm after. I don't know what you think. You think that's what it is, or they just don't want to be bothered with the Pro Bowl because they don't think it's as popular as it used to be.
I think that's the smaller side of it, like the fact that it's just not popular anymore. I do think that's the smaller side of it, and I agree with you. I think people outside of Buffalo maybe. And maybe some people in Buffalo. I think they underestimate, and I'm specifically talking about Keyshawn. I think some people underestimate Josh Allen's competitiveness and his drive, his desire to win and beat everybody, and like literally run through everybody, right? Yeah. And I say that jokingly, Key. I don't, not saying you hate the guy, nothing, but I do think that gets overlooked. And the one thing we got to keep in mind, Josh's track record so far has been, when he's on the field, that's who he really is, right? Wanting to run through people, wanting to put the team on his back, wanting to do everything that is necessary and everything he possibly can to win for his team, for his city, for everybody watching the games, right? But he's also, how can I say this? He's mastered in a lot of ways being the face of a franchise. Yeah. You know, that's something that's also been very important to him, right? You got to keep in mind that this is a family-oriented guy. And for him to, you know, put on that persona to not only keep his brand, you know, looking right, because he's got a lot of deals out there now. Yeah. But to keep his family name looking right, I think that matters to him. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And the last thing that he would want to do is you know, embarrass himself, embarrass his family, and embarrass the franchise that he's playing for. Right. And even though some of what Keyshawn has said in the past in terms of him, you know, needing to step up might actually be necessary. Yeah. I don't know if Josh is willing at this point in his career to cross that line. Yeah.
That's the flip side too, is that, like you said, he's trying to, you know, establish his family name. He don't want to be an embarrassment. He don't want no slander on his name whatsoever. But at the same time, is that what we need to see? Like, you put it all on the line. Like, hey, this is what I want. I'm not taking anything less. If it means people not going to like me or they going to hate me for being who I am, then so be it. You know, but I don't know, man. Like, I remember when I was at the training camp, and he's gotten to the point where I remember when he first came in to where he is now. And I remember going there and, you know, he was the first round pick and everybody's like, yeah, Josh. But, dude, the superstar that he is right now, hey, it's crazy. Like, put it this way. I remember the first 2 years he was signing autographs. Everybody can get a signed autograph. Mm-hmm. Now, if you're not a kid, no, he's not signing.
Dang.
There's a dude who got mad. He called in on 550. He was mad. He was like, yo, he said, I pay season tickets. I pay all this money, and I just think it's unclassy of him to not sign my ball. And the dude, they was like, really? Like, how old are you?
Right.
Like, you a grown man. These are kids here. Like, 5-year-olds, 6-year-olds. Like, you really think that he gonna come to you and walk over all these kids just to sign your little football?
Yep.
Like, but he's at that level now. Like,
Yep.
And Buffalo, we haven't really seen it. I would say, bro, to be honest with you, since Bruce, probably the last like superstar we had. Because don't get me wrong, Kelly was great, Andre was great, Thurman was great, but they was never like,
I ain't see no cardboard cutouts and no Jim Kelly.
you know what I'm saying? There was never like on the supers. Like, Bruce Smith was the best player on his position in the NFL. Period. You know what I'm saying? He was the number one guy. Like, I don't know. It's definitely, like I said, it's definitely, you can see his growth of when he first got here and his superstar and how it took off now. Like, he knows the activity that he's getting, or the what's the word I'm looking for?
Accolades or
Yes.
respect.
Yeah, like he can see how big it is when they call his name versus everybody else. Like, don't get me wrong, Stefon Diggs is a star. Poyer High, they're stars, but they're not touching Josh Allen's superstardom level. Like, he's up there.
Yeah, what you just said made me think about this point too. It could very well be a situation for Josh where, and I think a lot of celebrities get to this point too in their careers. Keyshawn says, "F your ball too." Oh man, but this is what I think Josh thinks, right? Once you get to that superstar level, it's understanding that if I sign this T-shirt, if I sign this shoe, if I sign this hat, if I sign this jersey, y'all gonna go sell it for thousands of dollars, right?
Yeah.
My job ain't to put money in y'all pockets. There's a level of genuineness that gets lost when you're at that level, right? Because now it's people trying to capitalize. It's a country of capitalism.
I've never thought about it that way. That's a good point, bro.
You know what I'm saying?
Good.
So, and that's, to me, that's the only thing that explains him signing children's stuff but not signing adult stuff.
Yeah.
Because even if parents, and this is to me, this is like the genius of him doing it this way. Even if a parent has it in their mind, come on, little Johnny, let's go get this football signed.
Right.
I'm gonna sell the mess out of this football once we get home. But as soon as he sees the look on his son's face getting that football signed, and his son is squeezing that football in the car on the way home, and Dad, look, I can't wait to tell Mommy about this. I can't wait to show my friend. You can't sell that football after that.
Nah. It's priceless now.
You're gonna be the worst dad in the world if you do that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's a genius move on Josh's part to do it that way, and I totally respect it. I think, capitalism itself is not bad. It's the perversion of it that's bad. But people don't know the difference nowadays. People don't know when to draw the line.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so, as a player, sometimes you got to do it for them. Real quick, outside. Actually, I'm sorry. I got a few comments before that. Rich writes in, Mahomes has been in a Pro Bowl.
Oh, he did show up for it?
I don't. Did he play? I don't remember him playing in the Pro Bowl.
I don't remember. Like, I remember he was nominated a bunch of times.
Yeah,
right since he's been in.
Right. He might have did what Kelsey did and just show up with the sunglasses on and just watch everybody.
Maybe.
It might have been something like that.
But yeah, I don't remember him playing in there. Maybe he did, but again, it's not that popular. So if you did watch it, but I don't remember him actually playing though.
Yep. Rich writes in, Allen should try the Pro Bowl. Maybe he'll win a chip. LOL. That's just cruel. That is just cruel. Like, the man got to humble himself to that degree after all the big losses he's taken and all the criticism that he's taken on social media and regular media. Outside looking in writes, Pro Bowl helps with Hall of Fame a bit. Still better to be first team than Pro Bowl. I agree with that 1,000,000%.
Yep.
Because All Pro is players and coaches.
Yep.
Like, that's the people you need to impress.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And then last one is outside looking in says, is Josh doing enough during the offseason to help him and his wide receivers and tight ends?
That's the question.
That's a major question. So, for those of you that didn't start off with us, I talked about a report that not a report, but some information that I had come across from my sources. Keyshawn said, outside looking in, you definitely wonder. What I heard at the time was when Josh was going into his second year, he was approached by Sean McDermott and Brandon Beane, and I think the quarterback's coach at the time as well, which would have been Ken Dorsey. And they wanted him to adopt the TB12 method. He refused.
Really?
He refused. It wasn't. I don't remember what the exact quote was, but basically he wasn't interested in it. Wow. And the reason they wanted him to do that was because his exercise regimen, the way he eats, and things like that, they didn't like it. They didn't think it was conducive to him having, peak performance, right? With Josh being the kind of beast that he is, and as young as he is, I can understand why he thinks that, but he's about to be 28 this year. And at times he looks like he's got a Ben Roethlisberger body.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I don't know if I want that from my quarterback that's going to be out there running, trying to bowl people over, possibly catching some lower back pains and stuff like that, like Roethlisberger was doing from time to time because you don't have any core strength.
Yeah. Did he deny the TB12 method or just the notion like, hey, you need to do some of the stuff like he's doing to like go out there and get some working with your wide receivers? Was it that, or is he just saying no to like the TB12 method?
Well, they wanted him specifically to do like the TB12 method. They wanted him to do exactly what Brady was doing, right?
I could see that being a competitor. Like,
yeah, why would I want to follow the guy in my own division? I get you. I get it.
But if it was just a, hey, maybe you should not do exactly what he's doing, but it's probably a good idea to get working with your receivers in the offseason and stuff like that. That I think he should do. Like, any quarterback who wants to be great, every opportunity you got, it needs to be like you need to work at it, right? Like we tell our kids who want to play sports, the only way you're gonna get there is you gotta put the work in. While everybody else is playing video games and they going to the movies, you working, you doing exercises or you doing drills. Like Kobe, like that's what Keyshawn loved, the Mamba mentality. That's how Kobe was. Kobe didn't take off days. Like he always put in the work. While everybody else sleeping, he's shooting. While you doing this, he perfecting his game,
right?
So if it was, I could definitely see him like if it's just TB12, I don't want to do that, but he should be doing some type of stuff to get his game right and get the team right. Yeah,
and that's the thing. There haven't been many reports of him, and this is kind of the Aaron Rodgers issue too. Is they don't really invest the time with their receivers, or at least it's not reported. Maybe he's doing it in secret. I don't know. Maybe they have the Bills have an Area 51 somewhere where they do that. We got some more comments. These comments are flying in. Thank y'all, man. Seriously. So Keyshawn writes in, did you see Justin Shorter saying he's been working all off season and he can't wait to show us what he's come up with?
That's what I'm talking about. Yeah.
Okay. I mean, hopefully your cone time got a little smaller. That would impress me because that means you can probably run a few more routes.
He had a back cone drill number.
Yeah, it was similar to Gabe Davis's, which tells me his ability to run certain routes may not be where I would want it to be.
Yeah.
Boz writes in, I think he was talking to outside. Do you think we will see Allen throw a football at all offside? You mean in the offseason? Probably not. We haven't seen it at all, really.
And that's what I'm wondering. Like I remember, like another reason why I was big on playoff Gabe is because I saw the work that he put in on the offseason. Like he would work the jugs machine. Like he tried to get Isaiah McKenzie, like, yo, let's go put some work in. And he was doing his restaurant down in, I forgot where he had a restaurant now, but he got like a barbecue joint.
Yeah.
He was doing that. Gabe trying, like, yo, let's get this work in. And I know Diggs, he does the same thing too. I've never seen Josh do it. Not to say that he don't, but is it like under wraps? Like you said, like, is it like hush, hush. Like
Right.
nobody can see what I'm working on. Like I don't want nobody to see it.
They all run into a stealth bomber and fly off
Yeah,
somewhere.
but I'll tell you this, man. All the great athletes, they all did it, man. I don't care what sport it is.
Yeah.
If you're not putting the work in, it's gonna show.
The only time, like you just mentioned, the only time that I think we really heard about that at all is when we first traded for Diggs, and really it was Diggs like, yo, come on, we need to go put this work in, right? I mean,
to me, I don't know. For him to be so good, he has to do it. I can't see him not. I don't know. I just can't see you having to be able to perform at that high level year in and year out without doing that in the offseason. So like,
but it does make you wonder, or it could possibly explain how he was just out of sync with Gabe Davis all season long.
Could have been.
You know what I mean? Like Gabe Davis was reading his routes based on his
Right.
perspective,
Right.
not thinking about where Josh might want to throw it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's tough. It's tough. Man, these comments are flying in. Let's see. Rich, Christina, what did you mean by momentum? She just wrote the word momentum. Rich writes in, LOL, where Key at? We need special teams talk. I'm starting to think that you're just writing the show to create chaos at this point. That's your sole purpose for being here.
We need the special team segment.
Yeah. It's like Rich is that guy that walks up to a juggler and just like throws random stuff into the juggler's hands to see if he can handle it. You know what I mean? Like, all right, go ahead. Dude's sitting there struggling. Rich comes up and throws a wrench in the game, and dude's trying to throw a wrench up in the air, and then he pulls out a basketball. All right, go get that one there.
Yeah.
Anyway. Lindsay writes in, I agree with Key. Sherfield worked the OTAs with Allen, and look where that got him. Hardly any production. It is an undeniable point.
Was that more of the crowded wide receiver room that it was? Because Gabe was out there, Shakir was out there, Hardy was out there. Like, he didn't really get the opportunities. And I saw him in training game. He looked it good. Like, he had strong hands. He looked it good to me.
Yeah.
But is it because he didn't get enough adequate playing time for us to see what his hard work did?
Okay, I have a complicated thought. So let me get through these comments first real quick, because this is a complicated thought. Okay, outside looking in writes, is the QB position really a dad bod position? It might as well be. It might as well be, because some of these guys that you would think, you know, they got these cannon arms. As soon as you see them in a t-shirt or something, you're like, do you play ball, bro? Like, do you even lift? Like, what are we doing?
Jameis Winston.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, they looking a little chunky, man. Lindsay writes in, go get Marvin Harrison Jr. I'm sure that freaked Keyshawn out to some degree.
That means you got to get him in the first round.
Yeah. We're gonna trade next year's first round pick. Let's see if Keyshawn can text in his heart attack. Keyshawn writes to, I guess he's responding outside looking in. He said, "Did you see what Mahomes said? They had a pic of him with his shirt off, and Mahomes was like, why do y'all do me like that?" Because you are who you are, bro. Work out. That's why we do you like that. Stop winning and work out.
Dude, he the face of the NFL right now.
Yeah, he's the golden boy, right? The golden child. Like, people are already saying on TV shows and stuff like that his first 3 years, his first 4 years in the league are better than Brady's. Technically, they are.
They are, yeah.
But for them to have this conversation of, you know, Mahomes is already the GOAT,
right?
Because he's already started off better than Brady. Like,
right.
get to 6 first. Get to 6 first, right. Then get to 7,
right,
and then we can have this conversation.
Yeah,
right. Yeah. Let's see. Outside looking in writes, Keyshawn, I did see that. It got me thinking. Boz writes in, does Allen in the offseason play more golf with his teammates than working out with them? The answer is yes. The answer to that is yes. All right. Complicated thought. So here we go. So when you were just talking about Josh Allen's rapport with the wide receivers, I don't know if you do this in Madden, but I always, whenever I started off, building a team, I would gut everybody. Like I might pick one or two players that I really knew I needed or that were difference makers or something like that. Like guys I just couldn't deny being on my team, right? Whenever I built out my each position, every position, I always had, if I didn't have a veteran at that position, I would go and look in the open market and see if there's a guy that I could plug in that would start for at least 3 to 4 years, right? Because in my mind, that would give me time to draft and groom a guy, maybe 2, right? When you when you build your team that way, it creates a hierarchy at each position where you have your veteran leadership, you have your guys in development, and you have your guys that they know they're not getting in the game or they're just special teams players, right? Right. And especially at the receiver position, I always tried to make sure that my number one was the number one no matter how good everybody else got, right? And so here's my point in bringing all this up. The way the Bills have built their teams during the Sean McDermott era, they've gone out to plug major holes with veterans. Mm-hmm. And the veterans that they sign are not always necessarily guys that are guaranteed to win a position. Yeah. See Deontay Hardy and Trent Sherfield. Yeah. Right? So, and even with Emmanuel Sanders, like that year you could argue there were other guys on the team that might have benefited from that time and experience on the field. But I guess what I'm really trying to get at is when you build your team that way and you're trying to plug these holes with veterans for the sake of being able to go into the draft and being able to draft for it kind of allows you to follow your draft board more as opposed to having the draft for need. Mm-hmm. Right? Which, if that's important to you, it makes sense because it does allow you to do that. It stops you from having to be in a desperate position and put a lot of pressure on a rookie, and a guy that might have only played 2 years in college, to have to come in and contribute right away. Yeah. It's also more of a traditionalist mindset because it stops you from having to play rookies right away. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Because you got veterans all over the place. Yeah. But what it does do is it disrupts the development of your younger players because when are they going to get the experience? Right? And don't get me wrong, there are some players like, Aaron Rodgers, Jordan Love, Patrick Mahomes that you can point to that say they benefited from sitting a year. Right? But at the same time, you look at a guy like Kyrie Elam, who every time he's gotten into the game, you've seen his play get better and better as the game goes on. Yeah. There are guys like that all over the league where they benefit more from the experience. Yep. You know what I mean? They're not. It's the difference between someone who can sit in the classroom for 40 minutes and do well and someone who needs to do the hands-on work, like some carpentry or some welding or something like that, where I'm just better working with my hands, right? If you show me how to do it, I'll know. Some people you can just tell them and they'll know, right? Yeah. And I think that's kind of where we are with the team, where we're in this position now where they're going into 2024 thinking, man, we have to play these young guys. Yeah. Where you've kicked the can so far down the road with trying to avoid playing these young players so that they don't mess you up in the postseason, and now you're in the situation where you're desperate, which is exactly where you've tried to avoid being. Yeah. Right? And that's going to push you to do two things. Now you're going to have to draft for need because you don't have any choice, and the guys that you sign are going to be either past their prime guys who want to come on a 1-year contract or guys that are coming off an injury and you hope they play with the chip on their shoulder because they want to work for a bigger contract. Yeah. Right? So What does that say? That says you're taking a big swing and hoping that all of this somehow pays off and allows you to make a deep playoff run. Because you check their page. They talking like their window is still open. They're talking like they still got a shot next year. They're talking like it's only going to take a few tweaks and they'll be right back at it. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, man. I think that way of building the team, it does hurt the rookies, man, because they don't get the experience and stuff that they need to develop. And now you're throwing them out there, and they might not be ready. Why they ain't ready? Because they didn't get the practice or the reps that they should have gotten because you were trying to do other stuff.
Right.
Like with me, like when I used to build my Madden teams, which now that I kind of like the way you do that, you kind of start from the bottom and then you build it.
Yep.
I had like the opposite approach. So what I would do is I would find a team, right, and I would find their weaknesses first, and I would plug in all the weaknesses and see if the guy's in the positions where I thought it was cool, if it was cool or not.
Yeah.
But the I kind of like your strategy better because mine, if I find out mid-season that this dude ain't cutting it, now I'm kind of stuck with him, right? Now I got to put somebody else in there where you already trimmed the fat. You already got people in there. So.
Right. We got a few comments here. Wow, I cannot keep up with you guys today. Keyshawn, you making more work for me than is necessary. Stop replying to these people. I say that jokingly, but okay. So where did I leave off? Yeah, outside looking in says I'm Madden GM the same way. Yeah, I mean, to me that's just it's a little more challenging, a little more interesting doing it that way. We talk about Madden, Keyshawn. Keyshawn writes in, "You guys are cruel. They have families. I don't care. I don't care. Them and their electronic families. Bye." Boz writes in, "Hey, some teams have a plan looking ahead. Some just plug holes." Right. That's right. Yeah. That's right. That's what we've been doing for 5 years is kicking the can down the road and plugging holes when necessary. Outside looking in says no rookie wide receiver has ever benefited from sitting a year or two just becoming a crouton on the bench, no longer fresh. That's absolutely right. Absolutely right. And if you look at the wave of wide receivers over the last, let's just say 4 or 5 years, right? So many rookies have come into the league. Justin Jefferson came in, set records as a rookie. DK Metcalf came in, destroyed the league. Yeah. Right? Who else? Jamar Chase. Right? So and it's not even just those guys. Puka Nacua, 5th round pick. Right? When Cooper Kupp came in, he destroyed the league. Yeah. I think he was a 4th round pick.
I'm trying to think, is there anybody who done that? Like came in and not played and then blew up?
What do you mean? Who was drafted like and sat?
Yeah, like only I can think of it. I'm not for sure. Did Antonio Brown do that when he was with the Steelers? Did he play off rip?
He was a 6th round pick.
But that's why receiver university anyway. So I'm kind of wondering, did he come in right away? Or
I think he got on the field his rookie season. Okay. I don't know if it was
he probably wasn't
as a
like
number one, but he definitely got playing time.
Yeah.
It might have been similar to the kind of. Well, no, I can't even say Gabe Davis because Gabe Davis got in because of injuries and he ended up getting like significant time in games and in the playoffs. Yeah. But I don't remember. You know what? Let's look up Antonio Brown's rookie season stats.
Because now that they say that, like you look at all the top receivers, like your Keenan Allen, your Mike Evans, they all came in. They wasn't like the dude the first year, but I think it's because of the quality reps that they got the first year, they became who they were.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Let me see. So he finished his rookie season with 16 receptions for 167 yards in 10 games.
Okay, so he didn't play that much.
No, he didn't.
So he might be the only exception.
Yeah, that ended up being a great player like that.
Which is rare.
Yeah.
And again, like I said, he was at wide receiver university. They always had good wide receivers. So I doubt especially if he was a 5th-round pick, if you're not a 1st-round pick, you're probably not going to jump into the line anyway because you got mad receivers way ahead of you.
Right.
But, I mean, he did become one of the best wide receivers that we had, man. He was a beast.
Oh, Kupp was a 3rd-round pick. Okay. Keyshawn writes in, they're afraid of their own shadow when they play rookies. Yeah, they are. They are. I don't understand what it is. You know what? To some degree, this has to speak to Sean's confidence in his ability to oversee the development of players. Like from that perspective of I can coach a young guy on the field. I don't need him to learn from the veterans in the room. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. It's almost like Sean has built a structure where he doesn't have to engage in too much of the hands-on development with the younger players. He leaves that to the vets that he puts in each of the individual position rooms, right? Yeah. And I'm just saying it seems like, I'm not saying it is, but from what we've seen in their lack of development of young players, and I say that from the perspective of young players being able to get right on the field. There's been some examples. I get, Osiris Torrance played his rookie season, started every game. I get Tre'Davious White came in and did his thing. But when Tre'Davious White came here, they didn't have a number 1 corner. They didn't even have a number 2 corner, right? Torrance, they hadn't yet signed Bates back, right? I'm sorry, they did. They had Bates, but they wanted him to continue to be that swing guy because he can play all 5 positions. So they didn't want to depend on him filling a guard spot, right? And the only other guy that they had at the time was Connor McGovern. So, of course, we need a right guard. Right. Hence the 2nd-round pick. Right.
Do you think, though, you think that is it an issue with them trying to be loyal to the veterans? So what I mean is, like, if I'm on the team and you got this rookie, do you automatically move him out and put the rookie in, or do you let the vet have preference, kind of like they did in high school, right? In high school and college, right? If you play 9 times out of 10, the seniors, even though you might have been better than them, this is last year, he's a senior, we're going to let him go ahead and get his last season in. I don't know if they have that approach when it comes to the NFL, because it seems like with the Bills in particular, like you said, they don't really push their rookies in there. And I'm wondering, is it because they want their veterans to have that preference, or they believe that the veterans can step up, or I don't know. Do you think that got something to do with it, or you just think that it just don't trust the rookies that they can produce at a level that they're looking for?
That's an interesting thought, because when Sean McDermott was the defensive coordinator for the Eagles, Brian Dawkins had retired already, so he was gone. I think Trotter was already gone from that. Like, a lot of the good veterans on that defense were gone. He had a lot of young guys, right? And the knock on him that year was he didn't relate to the young guys well, right? On top of that, it made communication difficult when it came to trying to coach the players and put them in the right positions, right? And of course, Andy Reid was the head coach of that team, and Sean McDermott, after taking over for Joe Johnson, after Joe Johnson retired, or is it Jim Johnson? I think it's Jim Johnson. After he took over for Jim Johnson, he was only the defensive coordinator for 1 year before getting fired. Oh, wow. Right? So the reason I bring that up is it is possible that to some degree that experience for Sean McDermott kind of scarred him in a way, because it does seem like that's the way that Sean operates. Like, whenever there's a something bad that happens, the next year you see him try to do whatever he can to avoid that. Yeah. That one specific thing. You know what I'm saying? It's like, I'm not going to let this thing kill me this year, but you forgot about the other 4 things that you said the last 4 years before that. Yeah. I think to a degree that causes him to be more focused on working with the veterans because they're more relatable even from a real life standpoint. Veterans and older guys have families. They more times than not they're married, or they have just a level of responsibility in their lives that makes it easier for him to communicate with them, and they may understand more. I don't know. I can't really speak to that, right. But yeah, I do think that plays a big part in it. Really quick, we got a couple of comments here. So Lindsay writes in, I think Tyreek Hill sat for a year or got very few snaps as a rookie before he became All-Pro. So, yeah, I mean, when you're – and here's the other thing too. For those types of receivers, Antonio Brown came in and played with who? Ben Roethlisberger, right? Tyreek Hill came in and played with who? Pat Mahomes, right? Khalil Shakir came in his second season and was very productive in the last 6-7 games of the season. That was his second year. He was playing with Josh Allen. Yeah. So I do think the quarterback matters for those guys. I would be interested in, maybe this is something that we can do for our next episode, is just kind of look through and see if there are any receivers that kind of defy this trend, right? That would be pretty interesting. Outside looking in writes in, McD best quality is he has always gotten more out of less, but that can only take you so far. Right.
True.
Right.
Yeah.
I remember when Sean was hired, one of the things that I loved was he hired all veteran coaches, right? His offensive coordinator was Rick Dennison. His defensive coordinator was Leslie Frazier. Those are guys who been there, done that. Rick Dennison was an offensive coordinator with Mike Shanahan, right? When Mike Shanahan was the head coach of the Denver Broncos, and they were running that zone run scheme with Terrell Davis and those boys, right? So that's the tree that he came from, right? So I thought that would have been a good hire at the time because we still had I think we still had Fred Jackson on that team, right? Didn't we?
Sean first year?
Yeah. So we still had Fred Jackson.
Oh, no, my bad. Rex Ryan fired him. He got rid of him, so he wasn't there.
He did. We had Shady.
Yeah. But that's when our offensive line took a crap.
That's true too.
Because remember, Shady was balling the year prior because I had him in fantasy, and I'm like, oh, I'm good. I got Shady, and then I'm like, yo, what happened? Yo, offensive line happened. No incognito. We lost like 2 people on our offensive line, and our offensive line was trash.
Yeah. Let me see. Keyshawn writes in, McD is experience driven. He doesn't care if you played or not. You have been there. Yeah. I think this point is connected to it too. He says, Boz, he doesn't seem to care if you were the 12th wide receiver on a Super Bowl team. You got the ring and bring that winning mentality to the locker room.
you know what it takes to win because you got one.
Yeah, like just think about the guys that he's brought in, right? Leonard Fournette. Who else has he brought in that won championships? Emmanuel Sanders,
Von Miller, Leonard Fournette.
Von Miller won his Super Bowl like 10 years ago.
No. He won the year before because he's tried to get 3 on 3 different teams.
Oh, that's right. He won with the Rams.
Yeah.
But, I mean, that's tough. That's tough. You played on a defense with the absolute best defensive player in the world at that point.
And that's what I don't think that people are like. He's looking at like, yeah, they won, but you got to look at how did they win? Did they win because of them or the team that is around them?
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right. Because I mean, let's be honest. They won that game. They won that Super Bowl because of Matt Stafford. Who's the dude that made the play at the end of the game? It wasn't the defense.
Well, what's his name? What's the all-world defensive tackle?
Aaron Donald
and Von Miller, they wind up sacking, was it Burrow?
Yeah.
They made the game-saving play, but like when you alluded to it, they were getting sacked the whole game because the Bengals' offensive line is Swiss cheese.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
But technically the defense –
and you had Leonard Floyd on the other side.
Yeah. So technically the defense did shut them out, but – Matthew Stafford, he was already, he was leading the team with, the offense attack.
Like, that's unbelievable. You have a defensive tackle that needs to be triple teamed. Okay? He needs to be triple teamed. And you add on to that an older Von Miller who at that point in time he could beat you one-on-one.
Right.
Period.
Right.
He could beat you one-on-one.
Right.
Then you put on the other side of that, you kind of already had this there.
Right.
But you have on the other side of that a Leonard Floyd who can win consistently one-on-one.
Yes.
That's 5 guys that can't handle 3 players.
And what was this? This was what, 3 years ago? So they were even better than they are now.
Right. Right.
So that defensive line was nasty.
Exactly. And that wasn't the only, those weren't the only 3 guys they had on the defensive line. They had another young guy that was up and coming at the time that was playing next to Donald, who was good too. Yeah. So Keyshawn said, "Doesn't matter. He has a ring." I mean, you know what? It's almost like these guys go into these positional rooms, the classrooms, and they sit around a campfire and tell stories about the time they won a Super Bowl.
Look what I got.
You know what I mean? Like let me tell you about the time in Super Bowl 56 when I made this play. Yeah. It's like I don't care. I don't care because at the end of the day, you were brought in for the playoffs. Really, you were brought in during the last six games of the season, and you were productive the last 6 games of the season, but you weren't productive the other 3 years before that when you were still with Denver. Yeah. Like, if you were still that guy, Denver doesn't get rid of you. That's just the bottom line of it. DeMarcus Ware played there until he retired. Right? And the only reason that the Cowboys didn't keep him was because they couldn't afford him.
Yeah.
The Broncos outbid him.
Yeah.
So, Lindsay writes in, he has 2 rings without doing shite.
His first ring, we give him his first ring.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, he's got a defensive MVP.
Yeah, he won that. He won
Super
that
Bowl
one.
MVP, rather.
He won the first one. The second one, he had help. A lot of help.
A lot of help. Yo, Keyshawn about to walk in here and slap me. He said, keep Shady's name out your mouth. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Okay, I don't want to take up too much more time because we still got to get to the all-time Bills team. Yeah. Hopefully you guys watching have some players that you wrote down. I know we kind of mentioned that we might do this, but we doing it, and we doing it right now. Keyshawn has sent us his list, so let's just go position by position.
This is kind of long, so
it is pretty long,
and he got a lot of our players. So can I do it? Can we do it this way? I want to get my offensive offs. How about I give you my offensive team, my starting 11.
Yep.
You give me your defense's 11.
Okay.
And then we'll switch, and then we'll get Keyshawn's.
Bet.
You want to do it that
Done.
way?
Let's do it. All right, outside looking in, what you got? Bring it on. Okay, you go. I'm ready.
You ready?
Yep.
All right. Offense. QB. Pretty much a no-brainer. It's between Josh Allen and Jim Kelly. Jim Kelly has more accomplishments, but Josh Allen's a beast. So I got Josh Allen.
No argument here.
QB1, Josh Allen.
No argument here.
Running back. This was hard for me, bro. This was hard for me.
I believe it. It's a lot of good ones.
Thurman Thomas was a beast. He won the league MVP. He was the first dual threat running back that was killing people.
Oh, man.
However,
I'm scared.
The Bills had a player by the name of Orenthal James Simpson.
Wow, you went with the juice.
I had to go with the juice
because the juice.
One of the great accomplishments that OJ had was there's only, I want to say I could count on my 2 hands how many running backs eclipsed 2,000 yards. OJ was one of them.
That's true.
Because of that, he has to make the list. So
that's a great point.
He's my starting running back. OJ.
Okay. All right. We got Josh Allen, OJ at the halfback.
Yeah. O-line. I needed a little help with this one, so I had to look up some stuff. Again, because I started watching football when I was 5, and I watched the 90s Bills. So I was always about the offense, the running backs, the wide receivers, the quarterbacks, right? Mm-hmm. All the other stuff was cool. I knew names, but I didn't really pay attention to it.
Yeah.
So the offensive, like the superstars, like I knew those boys. But offensive line, at guard, I got Billy Shaw.
Wow.
He's on the, I believe he's on the Bills Wall of Fame.
He definitely is.
He's my guard. My other guard, man that I know very well, Reuben Brown.
Yeah.
Reuben Brown.
Reuben.
Let's go. I got center. I really wanted to put my man Eric Wood on the list. I really wanted to.
I'm so glad you did not.
But I cannot exclude my man Kent Hall, man. Like, he was a beast. Like, with the whole Jim Kelly, like,
Yeah.
he was a beast at center. So Kent Hall is my center. My tackles. Left tackle, Jason Peters. Let's go.
Yes.
Let's go.
Yes.
Jason Peters, left
Yes.
tackle. Probably the best left tackle in the Bills uniform that I ever seen.
Ever.
Now, there might be some after him or before him, but I've seen in the Bills uniform, by far, Jason Peters, the best.
Yeah.
Hands down.
Easily.
Right tackle, I'm going to go with Howard the House Ballard.
Who?
Howard Ballard, a.k.a. The House.
The House?
Yes.
How big was this dude?
Yo,
Hold on, I gotta look this up.
he was pretty big.
Howard
He was a big boy.
Ballard.
He was a big boy, man.
Let me see here. Let me see what the. All right. Oh. Oh.
What you got? What you got?
He was Keyshawn.
He was 6'6".
He was 6'6", 325.
Okay.
Key's not 325,
Nah, he
but
ain't
he's for sure 6'6".
Yeah.
Man, that's a big boy, man. And
So-
you got him as a guard?
Yeah.
Okay. Man, that's big. He moving people.
Yeah. No. My bad. That's my right tackle.
Right tackle. Okay, that makes even more sense. That makes even more sense.
So all right. So I got my quarterback, running back, and I got my O line.
Okay.
Wide receivers.
Oof.
Y'all gonna get mad at me.
This is where it gets sticky.
Y'all gonna get mad at me. Number one, I got 3 of them. So my starting 11, I went 3 wide receivers, 1 running back, and 1 tight end. You can have 4, you can have 2, whatever. But number 1, Andre Reed. Got to put Dre on the list, man. Got to
Okay.
put Dre on the list.
All right.
Number 2.
I'm in a little bit of pain, but okay.
Number 2. Eric Moulds.
Yes. Okay.
Eric Moulds.
We back.
Number 3 was tough for me. It was tough for me for number 3.
Keyshawn said you saw all the Super Bowl teams.
Listen. Number 3 was tough for me, man. I like Stevie Johnson. I like T.O. I like James Lofton. Like, we had some boys on this team, man, but I had to go with my man, who's he's number 5 in all-time yards for the Bills.
Oh no.
Lee Evans.
No,
Baby.
you got
Lee Evans.
He's not even. Oh my god.
Bro, just imagine that squad. You got Moulds on this side, Lee Evans on this side, and you got my man Andre in the slot. Come on, dog. Josh Allen having a feast on them boys.
Oh man.
Eric Moses is the guy who could body receivers, double team, it don't matter.
Okay.
Lee Evans is getting past you. You're not catching him. You're not catching him. And then you got Andre.
He's by far the fastest build there's ever been at wide receiver.
No.
He's not the fastest build receiver?
Do you know who it is? You probably not gonna never guess it. Matter of fact, I'm gonna tell you afterwards.
It's Fast Freddy?
Nope. Faster than him.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Man, if anybody knows it, put it in the comments. I want to see if we can.
Basically, I'm going based off of when they were tracking 40-yard dashes. Like,
Okay, so
before that don't count, but
in the 40-yard time.
in the 40-yard catch, but the fastest one I've seen, I was like, wow, I had no idea.
Keyshawn said, "Boo!"
Screw you, Keyshawn. That's my list, man. That's my list. Those are my wide receivers.
He said Lee Evans, boo.
Hey, is he not number 5 in Bill Times all-time history? Is he not number 5, Key? Let's go. However, if I had a fourth, just by production and numbers, I got to put Diggs on the list.
Did Stephen Hill?
Who?
Rich said Stephen Hill.
No.
It's not Stephen Hill? Okay.
No.
Keep trying to get with the booze. Listen, if you wanted to rebuttal so much, you should have been here.
All right. Last one. My tight end. I had to go with my man, Pete Metzelaars, baby.
Okay. Respect.
I had to go with Pete. Pete was a beast, man. He was dominant. So I had to give him credit, man.
I like it. I respect it.
So that's my offensive. That's my offensive right there.
All right, well, let's
see the D.
Let's see if my defense can keep up. All right, I'm gonna save the best for last. My left end, I went with Mario Williams.
Wow, Mario Williams. Okay.
Of the left ends that played, I didn't really see who's the guy that played across from Bruce Smith?
Oh, you talking about Phil Hansen?
Yeah, I didn't see Phil Hansen that much, but when I looked and seen that he played in a 3-4, I'm like, I want a 4-3. I want a 4-3.
You want a 4-3?
Yeah. So I went with Mario Williams. My 5 tech.
Who you got?
Pat Williams.
Okay.
Yeah, buddy. The big boy is in town to shut it all down. Let's go. Now, my 3 tech, and in my mind, the best 3 tech we've ever had, including Oliver, Kyle Williams.
Ooh.
Kyle Williams. The motor that never gets slower. Never. The man was great at reading offenses. He was great at reacting to blocks and blocking schemes. I've never seen a defensive tackle that could think the game the way that he did. And while he didn't have all of the like elite physical traits that you would want, the dude was strong as all get out, and he made a difference every single game. I love Kyle Williams.
That's a good description of Kyle Williams, because he didn't have all the huge talents and all that, but he was a staple in that middle, bro. He was a staple there.
No doubt. On a team that desperately needed playmakers too.
Yeah.
Right?
Kyle was that dude, man.
Right in, no brainer, Bruce Smith.
Bruce.
you got to put him there. Strong side linebacker.
Okay.
TK. Oh, baby.
Yeah.
Takeo Spikes in the house, baby. Let's go. By far one of my favorite Bills ever. Had the attitude, had the dominant physical presence. You never wanted to go over the middle when we had him, Fletcher, and Jeff Posey.
Yeah,
it was over. You wasn't touching them boys, man. And in the run game, forget about it.
Yeah.
Forget about it.
He was a beast.
Which brings me to my middle linebacker, London Fletcher.
You going London?
I'm going with London. That to me, I haven't seen a middle linebacker play better than him for the Bills in his tenure, and have the career that he's had. He was a great overall player in general, and not only was he great in the run, he was great in the pass too. Yeah. Right? I think Bernard still got a little bit of ways to go, but I think Bernard for me would be a close second in terms of like middle linebacker.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know who else there is that's beating him at middle linebacker, right?
Yeah. Keyshawn would laugh if I put my man Puz Leslie in there. he would go crazy.
Yeah, because I mean, if you would have said Paz, I might have. Okay, all right, I'm gonna live. And then weak side, of course, got to be Matt Milano. Weak side linebacker. Yeah, I mean, he's a great blitzer. He's the best cover linebacker we've ever had. I don't know, and here's the other thing too. All of the other linebackers like Cornelius Bennett and Darryl Talley and all them boys, they played in a 3-4, right? So that I had to take that into consideration with who I put on my team because I'm playing a 4-3. So for me to say, okay, Darryl Talley, go out there and cover a tight end. Nah.
I got you.
Nah. Cornelius Bennett, go out there and do something other than rush the passer. Nah.
I got you.
Nah. All right. My number 1 corner.
Who you got?
Nate Clements.
Okay.
Nate Clements.
Okay, Nate.
Nate was probably the best combination of decent size, decent speed, and playmaking ability. Not only did he get interceptions, he could play zone, he could play man, he punched the ball out, He was a playmaker at corner,
Yeah.
right? He was a true number one corner. One of my favorite corner tandems that we had, and I struggled. I struggled with this because I really wanted to put him in as the number 2 corner, Antoine Winfield.
Yeah.
I really wanted to do it, but Antoine Winfield was a little limited in his speed, right? And his athletic ability, he was more suited for the safety position, but because of the type of defense that the Bills played at the time, they could afford having him at corner.
That duo kind of remind me of like the Poyer and Hyde. Like them boys was nice together.
Yeah.
Together, them boys was nice, man.
Yep, 100%. 100%. Lindsay said he whacked Brady.
Yes, that was the infamous Brady hit.
Yep.
Now today, imagine if that was Pat Mahomes. Oh, he get fined. He might even get ejected for that hit, bro. He might get ejected for that hit.
Right.
But it was a clean hit, though.
Yeah. This might be a little more controversial as a number 2 corner, but I had to consider overall ability and you know, looking at the need to just completely shut down teams. Right. This wasn't my favorite guy of all the other guys. Remember, like I just said, I wanted to put Antoine Winfield in there, but I had to go with Stefon Gilmore. Stefon Gilmore as a number 2 corner at the time. At that time when we had him, the man went and played for New England and became the best corner in the league, and it was undeniable, right? So one of the things that I always said when he was here was it's not him, it's the system. Because if you watched him play in college, he can play. Right, he was one of the best corners in the league, right, or in college. So I think it was a lot of what he was being asked to do at the time, right. So I went with Stefon Gilmore as my number 2 corner. Here's where I'm going to piss everybody off. So you guys get your whipping sticks out and your bows and arrows. My free safety is Aaron Williams.
I ain't mad at that, bro.
You ain't mad at it?
I know why. That was your boy.
Yo, that was my boy since
my Lee
day
Evans.
one.
That was my Lee Evans wide receiver. Yeah. Aaron
Let me tell you, if y'all thought Antoine Winfield could hit, Aaron Williams was bodying receivers at corner when he first came into the league. Those of you who remember it, y'all know. Loved it. But when he went to safety, forget about it. That was one of those players that started the trend of the league trying to stop, like, you know, the targeting and like really breaking people over the middle. He was one of those guys where it didn't matter. It didn't matter the time of day. You could get your back broke anytime. Like try jumping and catching the ball if you want to. You coming down with 2 less ribs. Yeah. Like that's the way he played. I loved every second. Keyshawn said we are no longer friends. Hey. You might still need something. You ain't feeling well, so be careful with that. I'm losing my voice here. He said Gilmore ill. He don't like Gilmore. This one might make him really mad. Y'all ready?
What you got?
Strong safety, Jarris Byrd.
Yo, I ain't mad at that.
For real?
I ain't mad at that,
I am
man.
shocked.
I
am shocked. He said you already pissed me off. Yo, Keyshawn is not happy. So I went with Jarris Byrd because with Aaron Williams playing, he's not only a good cover free safety, he can play man coverage, he can play zone coverage, and he can play in the box. But you put in Jarris Byrd, who was amazing at reading defenses, and he had that Ed Reed element to him, where he could read a play and come from way on the other side of the field to get an interception, you know, on a deep pass, and he actually did that during his career here with the Bills. His first season starting at safety, he had 9 interceptions that year. So for that kind of production and that kind of game-changing play from my safety, absolutely, I gotta have that. I think that kind of rounds out what I think is a physically dominant defense. So that's what I got.
Nice, I like that.
Are we reading off what Keyshawn's got? Because I think his list is like just kind of everybody.
So he got a lot of players that we said like, all right, we'll just read off Keyshawn list.
Okay.
So Keyshawn, he got Josh Allen. He went with the Juice as well. But he got the Juice and he got Thurman. So he put them both down there. His wide receivers are Moulds, Steph Diggs, and Andre.
Okay.
And he went with the tight end, same as Pete Metzelaars. His second, guess who his second was?
Oh, God. Why?
Can you guess?
Oh, I see it.
Oh, you see?
I'm looking right at it. You can go ahead and read it off anytime you want because I'm ready.
Dawson Knox.
Boo!
Dawson Knox was the second tight end. Let's go, Key. I ain't mad at that. Then he got my man, right tackle. He got my man Howard Ballard. He went Jim Richter at guard. I like that. I like that.
He's an old school cat, so you knew all the old names is going to be on this joint.
He got Kent Hall at center, same as mine. I was this close of going with Joe DeLamielleure. I was close, but I had to get my man Billy Shaw and Ruben Brown, man. Those are my boys, man. I had to give them some burns. So.
Key, you about to be really mad at me. Outside looking in, we didn't incorporate fullbacks, did we?
I mean, we could have, but we put.
We could throw it in at the end. We could throw it in at the end. I got a name. Keyshawn says he said Bird boo from me, and then I guess he was talking to outside looking in. He said I would like to switch my safety to Odoms, Nate Odoms. Okay, now that I think about it, no Bird. Okay, all right. I mean, Nate Odoms respectable. I can get with that. His defense. Are we going over his defense or just his offense?
Oh, so his last offensive player, he had a left tackle. He had Will Wolford.
Who is that?
He was
Keyshawn. Who is that?
I think he took over for.
Keyshawn says, "Read it." Boz, what you booing, man? Which part of this? Which one you booing? Which player? Who is Will Wolford? I need to look this dude up real quick. Who is Will Wolford?
He was a big boy too, man. You know, Keyshawn like them big boys.
That's
man.
right. That's right. That's probably what he did. He went back and found the heaviest, tallest lineman that he could find because that's all he's ever done in Madden ever in his entire life is I don't even care what your name is. You could be Asian for all I care.
How fat are you?
Right. Are you a sumo wrestler? Let's go. Are you over 350 pounds? Let's go. I don't get like this was the part that killed me. He had a player on his team that was 5'11", 360 pounds. What are we doing, Keyshawn? What are we doing?
5'11".
It didn't matter how tall they were as long as they were tree trunks at the very bottom. Like unbelievable. I'll look up Wolford later. We gotta get through this. Defensive players, he had defensive end Bruce Smith,
of course,
staple, had to do that.
Yep.
Defensive tackle Fred Smerlis.
I was close to putting Fred on my list too.
Okay, this is one I struggled with, and I really wanted to do him and Pat Williams. Ted Washington.
Yeah, big Ted, baby.
But then I had to think about like who's gonna rush the interior. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like I had to consider that. Let's see. Defensive end. Oh, we agree on this. Mario Williams. Okay. All right. Will Wolford was the left tackle on the bowl teams. You sure about that? I thought it was there's another guy that I was looking at earlier. I don't have it up. He ain't Samoan. Yeah. All right. Linebacker Cornelius Bennett.
Yes, sir. Biscuit.
Inside linebacker London Fletcher. Hey, we agreed on that one. I was
surprised at that one, bro.
Oh man. Yo.
I was surprised with that one.
What, London Fletcher?
Nah, the next one.
Matt Milano.
Yeah.
Matt Milano. We agreed on that.
Yeah.
Yo. I am shocked right now. Me and Keyshawn never agree on player selection. Never. Right? But these next three players, I'm like, all the way. All the way. He did exactly what I wanted to do. He went Nate Clements for his number one corner, and his number two corner is Antoine Winfield. It's exactly what I would have done.
That's surprising, man.
Kudos, Key. Kudos.
Man.
Right. This is the one I don't agree with. Jordan Poyer at safety.
Key. I would have took Hyde over Poyer.
100%. I almost did. I struggled between Hyde and Bird. The only thing that got Bird up there was the interceptions.
Yeah. He was a ball hawk.
And then, of course, this was a huge shocker because I just said this guy and this is somebody we agreed on. But yet somehow he booed this guy on the chat.
You don't want him now.
Jarris Byrd.
You don't want him now.
Yeah, you're right. Now all of a sudden you don't want Jarris Byrd. Now he booing just okay. All right. Do you want to go into kickers and punters, or you want to save that for after?
His is the same as mine. Steve Christie and Brian Moorman.
Yep.
Respectively, probably the best ones we ever had.
Yeah. I actually went Tyler Bass and Brian Moorman.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You went T-Bass?
Yeah, I went T-Bass. I think his leg is a little bit stronger than Christie's.
Okay.
By a little bit, not by much. But the first wide right to me was like, no.
So no.
Hyde is retiring? Is that real?
I think so.
Yeah, Hyde is retiring. We got to look that up. Micah Hyde retiring.
I mean, it's not something that was crazy. Like, I knew it was a possibility.
Bill safety Micah Hyde said he will take some time to decide his future with the team. He's 33 years old. His contract is up. He's definitely weighing retirement after 7 years with the Bills.
Man, I feel bad for him, man. He deserved at least play in the Super Bowl, man.
Yeah.
Man.
But he's played with some greats, man. He's definitely made plays. I think he's one of those guys that can sneak into the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
You know, he's got plenty of Pro Bowls to show for it. I'm not sure if he's got an All-Pro under his name. He might have one, but good as a corner, great as a safety. Definitely respected around the league. I think he'll eventually get in. All right, now you need to go with your defense, and I got to go with my offense.
Yep. So my defense, of course, all three of us gonna have my man Bruce on there for the DN. So we got Bruce. My D tackles are Sam Adams.
Ooh.
And Ted Washington.
Ooh. Ain't nobody running on that.
Nobody's running on that.
Nah.
Nobody's running on
nah.
that. My other end, I had to go with what you call, man. I had to go with Phil Hansen, bro. I had to go with Phil.
Okay. I mean, I respect it.
With Bruce and Phil, like,
yeah, it's the name. It's the tandem. It's this. Yeah, I respect that.
My linebackers, I had to go with TKO.
Okay.
I had to go with Takeo. Beast.
Okay.
My other one, Bryce Pop.
What?
Bryce Pop, baby.
Bryce Pop.
Yo, for those of you who don't know, Bryce Pop won Defensive Player of the Year when he played for the Bills. He was that impressive on that already loaded defense.
Wow.
Bryce Pop was a hitter, man. He was a beast.
Wow.
So give me Bryce Pop. My third, I gotta go with Spider-Man. Daryl Talley.
Really?
Gotta go with Daryl Talley, man. Talley, Pop, and Takeo. Game over.
I want to play that defense now.
Game over.
I want to play it. Oh, my offense. I want to play that defense now. I want to do it.
Here's what's the hardest one for me is my secondary.
Ooh.
So I went old school.
Oh, man. Okay, this should be good.
I went old school. So I got my cornerbacks. I got two Nates. Nate Clemens and Nate Odoms.
Respect both of those.
Both
so
Nates.
Is Nate Clemens your number one corner?
Yes.
Okay.
He's my number one, and I got Clemens on the back.
Okay.
Just because you already alluded to why you put him on the list. Like, he was a beast, dude. Beast.
Ain't no way around
My
that.
safeties, I'm a little different. Free safety, I got Mark Kelso. Kelso was a banger, bro. Oh, he used to hit people so hard. You remember Mark Kelso?
I remember the name. I don't remember watching him play.
Bro, he was a banger. And I had to go with Henry Jones.
Ooh.
Henry Jones and Mark Kelso.
You like the hitters, bro.
Bro,
You like
I love
the big
hitters.
boys. Yeah,
I
you
love
like the hitters.
man.
Okay.
But I'm not mad at I kind of respect the Jarris Byrd. I was thinking about Jarris Byrd because he was a ball hawk. And I'm like, yo, that would be nice. But I got to go with them old school hitters, man. Just the smacking boys.
Well, we got a few comments from some new people. Howard White is the one that mentioned that Hyatt was retiring. Welcome to the show, man. I hope you like it. He also said we need a new kicker. I think a lot of people are saying that right now.
Bass?
Huh? Yeah. I mean, it's tough because again, these are guys that are only in practice they're doing 6 different kicks and then they go and work on something else that's not kicking related. I need to know what you mean by this one. Comedian Mo Brown, welcome to the show. He said Bills need to true number 1. Are you talking about receiver or corner? And then Keyshawn writes in, Bryce Pop has 17 and a half sacks.
Let's go, Bryce.
Man.
Bryce Pop was a beast, man. He was hitting cats.
Yeah, Chris 716 writes in, Pop was a beast. Mo Brown says we need a Super Bowl. Ain't that the truth? Ain't that the truth? Mushroom Head. Who's Mushroom Head? I don't know. What are you talking about, dude? Did you just take some cough syrup or something? What are you talking about, Key? Needing a true number 1 receiver. Hey, Keyshawn, I didn't say it. Key, I didn't say it. I promise you it wasn't me. I may have sowed the seed a little bit and tried to, facilitate the growth maybe, but deep down inside, my deepest, darkest fantasy, I guess, in terms of receivers would be to draft our number 1 receiver this year. Move up however we need to. Get yourself a number 1 receiver.
Yeah.
Right? And then somewhere in the 3rd to 5th, you draft a number 2 receiver.
Yeah.
Right? And it can't just be a guy that is scheme specific. You need to go into those rounds 3 to 5 looking for another guy that could potentially become a number 1 receiver.
Right.
Or number 1A, like a T. Higgins. You can find a guy like that in those rounds, right?
History has told us that they are there.
At 100%, right? So we need to be on that like white on rice. Like that needs to be the main focus this season. And it can't be a pass catcher. Don't you dare get me another pass catcher running back or another tight end that can run smooth routes. I don't care about that anymore. I didn't even love the Kincaid pick when it happened, but he won me over during the season. Yeah. I don't want to go through that again. Yeah. Mark Kelso is the Mushroom Head.
Oh, for that, the helmet.
Yeah. Howard White, what do you mean? Can we make Diggs though? But yeah, so number one, as far as what Mo Brown was saying. Yeah, number 1 receiver. I would like to with Diggs turning 30 this season, start to move him into more of that Keenan Allen role. Yeah. Let him eat up that middle. Yeah. You know what I mean? And even if, because we talked about this in the last episode, a lot of the routes that Shakir was running, deeper routes. Those are all the same routes that either Gabe Davis was running or Diggs was running the year before. Yeah. Right? And he's been a lot more productive with those routes than anything else, right? So, man, we gotta welcome Time Traveler to the show. He says, "Apologize, you guys could have beat Patrick, but you didn't." Time Traveler is blaming us for making KC a dynasty. I'm sorry to disappoint you, man, but KC was a dynasty before we got there. Honestly, they beat Brady. They beat they came back on KC, and I mean the only time that Mahomes lost the Super Bowl, he was playing with a bum ankle.
What do you lose? Oh,
in Tampa Bay.
Yeah, he lost to Brady in Tampa Bay.
So basically, he lost an away game in the Super Bowl because of a bum ankle, and he was playing against Tom Brady with the team of destiny or whatever. Yeah. Time Traveler says you and Baltimore combined, KC doesn't even have to win a Super Bowl. It's a dynasty already. Yeah, that's kind of what I was saying. Hart White was saying if Diggs leaves, can we find another Diggs?
Oh. So all right. So to that point, let me pose this question to you, A.
Mhm.
We talked about number one wide receivers, right? To me, they're different types of number one receivers, right? You have your Stefon Diggs, your Amon-Ra St. Browns. On the Commanders, you got Terry McLaurin. Like, you had Brandon Cooks. To me, those are number ones, but it's not the type of number one that I want, that I think will fit the Bills system and Josh Allen.
Right.
I want the big number one.
Yep.
I want the Calvin Johnsons, the Terrell Evans, the Randy Mosses, the Devontae Adams. You know what I'm saying? Like, I want the big number one. Like, I don't want the Jamar Chase. He's good.
I want the DKs of the world.
Don't get me wrong, I'm not taking nothing from him. They're fabulous wide receivers. We talked about Antonio Brown. He was a beast.
Yep.
He's small. He was a beast.
Yep.
But I want the big wide receivers on our team.
Right. Even Justin Jefferson is 6'2", and I think he's like 210 pounds or something like that.
Yeah.
Which in the league is technically a bigger receiver.
Yeah.
But his combination of body control, athleticism, speed, route running ability, it's just elite. All of it is elite.
Yeah.
Same with Jamar Chase.
He's like the best. He has like everything sprinkled in.
Right. Same with Jamar Chase. Jamar Chase has got slightly less athletic ability, but he's got the same kind of speed, the same kind of route running ability. And here's the thing. Jamar Chase is playing in a system with Zach Taylor that is it's almost specifically designed for him to succeed, right? And that's one of the things that I've wanted to have here for years, but we need an offensive-minded head coach in order to do that kind of stuff. In order to have these receivers come in and have the same success that a Justin Jefferson has when he's playing with I don't know if I can say that because Mike Zimmer was here when he was drafted, but Justin Jefferson kind of performed in spite of Mike Zimmer, and Mike Zimmer was in his last year anyway when they drafted him, and then they hired the O'Donnell guy. Anyway, yeah, Chase is nice. Boz had a question. Oh no, Boz says we need a yak wide receiver here. Seeing that, I'm gonna say, time traveler. I'm not gonna apologize, man. I don't know what you want me to do. I'm not saying sorry for Sean McDermott losing. I'm not even a fan of the head coach here, so I'm not apologizing for him. In terms of yak wide receivers, I think Shakir is the guy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Especially seeing what he did in the playoff game. I think to me, that was kind of the pinnacle of him realizing his ability and his power on the field.
Yeah.
Right? We hadn't really seen him do too much of that during the regular season or last year when he had opportunities, right? But for him to do that and put that on tape in a playoff game and have that under his belt now, knowing that he's done it and he can do it again.
Yep.
That's the guy that I want to get going now on a regular basis. It's not like he's Wes Welker 5.0, not even 2.0. Because not Wes Welker.
Edelman.
Beasley.
Oh, Beasley.
Yeah, he's Beasley 5.0 because Beasley's never been that fast, right? Or had that kind of athletic, a bit that shiftiness, and you know what I mean, and that downfield speed. Like Beasley's never had that, right?
Yeah.
So I think Shakir is the guy. I obviously I would like to have that in my number one receiver. I think Odunze kind of has that ability to do that run after catch. He's shown a lot of that in college. Time Traveler is going crazy.
Yo, with your point about Shakir, remember his first year? People were saying, "Oh man, he drops a lot of those big balls in those clutch moments." Because there was a couple moments where he had some big passes where he dropped them. But look at what he did the next year. That's what I'm talking about. Like, you got to give them the opportunity to fail so they can get better.
Yeah.
So they can learn and be better. But like, to me, Shakir's a weapon. That
100%.
You're gonna have to plan him for.
Right.
Like, he's just not. Oh, we ain't got to worry about him. No, you do, because he showed him in big games. Like big games in the season, in the playoffs. Like, to me, I can trust him.
Yep, 100%. To answer your one question about the Bills cap space, Time Traveler, we're $50 million over the cap right now as it stands. Yeah. And yes, this is the year that Allen's contract fully kicks in. which is part of the reason they're 50 million over. They've been kicking the can down the road with Tre'Davious White. His contract has already been restructured. Deion Dawkins, I believe, already had his restructured. Mitch Morse restructured his last year. Who else? Who else did they restructure? I think it was Micah Hyde, maybe. Jones who? He said ill. Yeah, I know. 50 million over the cap is not pretty at all. What Jones are you talking about, time traveler? But yeah, so yeah, we're not getting anybody if we're 50 million over the cap, time traveler.
Brandon Beane kind of even alluded to that. He said,
Yeah.
don't look for big splashes in free agency.
Right. Yeah. The only, and I think I said this in the last episode, the only thing that I could see them doing is if they. Keyshawn ready to hear my offense. All right. I promise we're gonna get to that. Give me a second. Chris Jones. No, ain't no way we can. No.
Chris Jones? No, we
Yeah,
can't-
the only
can't-
teams that are
can't
getting
afford
Chris
him.
Jones are guys at the bottom that got a ton of cap space.
Yeah, we can't afford him.
Lindsay writes in, you need to fall in order to succeed. I and every Bills fan is still waiting. Yeah.
At this point, she ain't.
I get what she's saying, and to a degree, yes. But when you see Mahomes' success as fast as it came, when you see Zach Taylor and Joe Burrow's success as fast as it came, when you see Sean McVay take over the Rams and in year 2 they make a Super Bowl, like those are the things that get me looking at where we went wrong, you know, and I start to look at, was it roster moves? Was it, staffing decisions? Did we get all of the right coaches? Is it a GM thing? Are we not drafting the way that, the best way possible? So stuff like that makes me wonder from time to time. Keyshawn writes in, they will do one restructure, should free up like 25 mil in cap space.
So that'll put us 25 over then?
Yeah. So we'll be 25 over, but we still have the ability to cut Mitch Morse, which would save us $10 million. They can get out of Tre'Davious White's contract if they want to, because he hasn't restructured his. He restructured his like 3 years ago or something like that.
Would the Mitch Morris help us now?
Yeah, if they cut him, that's an instant $10 million with
okay.
no dead cap hit too.
Okay.
Because it's the last year of his contract.
Okay.
So that's 35 mil that we can have right there. Just letting him go. We can draft a center. You know what I'm saying?
15 over is not too bad.
No, you could, like I said, if you drop Tre'Davious White's contract, that's 17. So now you're $2 million. You got $2 million in cap space, right? So yeah, there's stuff they can do. But let's get to this. Let's get to the let's
see
give
the offense.
Keyshawn what he wants. Yeah,
Let's see
let's
the
get
O.
to the offense. All right. Obviously, quarterback got to be Josh Allen.
No Jim?
No question about it. No. I didn't like. I didn't even really start watching the Bills until right after 9/11.
Oh, wow.
And there's no correlation between the two. I didn't say, oh man, all that death. Let me watch the Bills. It didn't happen that way, I promise. But yeah, like that, I don't know. Like growing up, I played baseball like my whole youth. Right, I played a little bit of little league football. But baseball was like the thing that I stuck with. Like, I just enjoyed playing it the most. And then I got into basketball, and then like I didn't really start playing football for real until like my older years, right? Anyway, that's my quarterback. A lot of the guys on my offense are probably going to be considered to be, younger, new age guys.
Yeah.
That's probably why. Anyway, My running back. I did 2 running backs, just in case we were doing 2 running backs.
Okay.
So I'll only do the one, since you only did one.
You can do 2 because he did 2.
He did 2?
He did
okay.
2.
All right. My number 1 running back, Marshawn Lynch.
Number 1?
Number 1, baby.
Ooh, beast
Number
mode.
1.
Okay.
Beast mode was the best Bills running back I've ever seen. Never mind Shady, never mind Fred Jackson, never mind CJ Spiller, never mind any of them boys. Lynch was unstoppable. I have never been more pumped watching a running back run the ball. I don't care about the stories about Travis Henry benching with the linemen and squatting with the linemen. Never mind all that. He broke tackles, but he wasn't breaking tackles like Lynch was. Like Lynch was, to me, in my mind, the best combination of power and speed the Bills have ever had, and that's even including Willis McGahee, because Willis McGahee was, they asked him to put on weight to be more of a power back because that fit their system. Right. But he was never a power guy in college. He was a speed guy. Yep. So, that's them, Yeah, I hear what you're saying, Howard White. Thurman Thomas.
But to your point, if you didn't really see him, you didn't really
that's
see
what
him
I'm saying.
play,
Like,
you didn't really see it. Like,
I didn't really grow up watching him and Kelly. You know what I mean? So, for me, I'm thinking about the guys that got me hyped, and that's for sure Marshawn Lynch. My number 2 running back, we've already proven this. The trajectory of James Cook's numbers.
Okay.
Project him to be better than Thurman Thomas by the time he's done.
Okay.
So I'm going to go with James Cook as a new and improved version of Thurman Thomas. Wow. No disrespect to Thurm. Yeah. I met the man, cool dude, funny dude. Yeah. Keyshawn said, never mind. Oh, my gosh. Never mind Shady. Yeah, never mind Shady. Yeah, I said that. Never mind Shady. Right. I'm gonna be honest. I was never really a big fan of Shady. I always loved the bigger power backs. Mm-hmm. Right, the Terrell Davises. You know what I'm saying? Adrian Peterson. Yep. Like those boys. Like I don't know what it is about that, but every time that they had a 50-yard run, it was like, that's the way life is supposed to be. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I was like a proud dad. Like, yes, that's exactly right. So, I know, Mo. That's crazy. I get it. All right, my receivers. I'm about to piss y'all off even more. Ready? I did go with Eric Moles as my number 1.
Got to.
My favorite Bills wide receiver of all time. Nobody could tell me different. I'm not hearing it. It's Eric Moles for me. Okay. After that,
did you go who I think you going with?
Oh my gosh! Are y'all ready for this? Let's go, baby. Let's go. 6'3", 225 pounds, could run like a gazelle, downfield playmaker, had the speed to get it done. You mean to tell me I could have 2 Eric Moulds on the field at the same time? Yes, please. Give me all of that right this second. That's why I went with T.O. How in the world are you going to stop 2 big body receivers that can win over the top, that can run down the field and make plays, that can body anybody over the middle, that can get hit by a linebacker and just be like, whatever.
You can't double team both of them.
This is what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying, man. Oh, my gosh. I understand what you're saying, Mo. James Cook is no Thurman, but if you go and look at the numbers right now in his first season compared to Thurman's first season, we actually did it. Key can speak more to this than I can.
Yo,
but
it's close. It's close.
In a lot of categories, James Cook has already beaten Thurman.
Wow.
Yeah, 100%.
In the rookie season?
Yeah, in his rookie. Yeah, in the rookie season. Yeah. In terms of yard per carry average, things like that, like blowing Thurman out the water.
Wow.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Third receiver, I went with Steph Diggs.
Okay.
I went with Steph Diggs. That's my slot guy. To me, I really hope that we get to see Diggs in the slot. I think his his ability to shake guys off and beat man coverage the way that he does, he could really be breaking people's ankles in the middle of the field.
Yeah.
And with the rules the way that they are now, he's not going to get blown up.
No.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So having a guy like that playing over the middle of the field and making the plays that he can make against guys slot corners, he could potentially force teams he could force the entire league to change the way that they play defense. Like Keenan Allen is to some degree still a great slot receiver, but he's never had the speed or the quickness that Diggs has, right? So if you take all of that into consideration, you putting that guy inside, and teams have to guard him like he's a number one.
Yeah.
That's a major problem for any defense. Yeah.
Your
nickel corner has to now be your best, if not your second best guy on the field in the secondary. So, yeah, that's who I got. My tight ends. Yeah, time traveler, you can miss us with the weed talk. I don't smoke.
You trying to smoke up?
Nah, I guess. I don't know if he playing around or what, but that ain't me. All right, tight ends. I went with Dalton Kincaid as my number one tight end. I did it. I like the pass catching tight end. I like the pure pass catching tight end. When you look at the Travis Kelce's of the world, when you look at Tony Gonzalez, when you look at Jimmy Graham in his heyday, when you look at Antonio Gates, these are guys that were playmakers as pass catchers, right? I want touchdowns coming from the tight end position, not blocks. I don't want my guys being known as great blockers.
Remember Julius Thomas?
Julius Thomas. Yes.
For the Broncos?
Yes.
Beast.
Yeah, he was.
Beast.
He was. In fantasy, he was a monster, bro. Like,
My man knew about him, and I was so hot because we was drafting real quick. He was like, I'm taking Julius. I'm like, who's that? He looked at me. He was like, you'll find out. I'm like, hey, he ain't nobody. He's a tight end. Get out of here. I'm taking who I know. Bro, when he blew up, I'm like, he said, I knew it. He was a beast in college, bro.
Yeah.
I'm like, dang.
Yep. Manning lucked out, man. Manning lucked out. Another tight end that I watched, I was able to see him towards the end of his career that I really liked. I heard his name called a lot for touchdowns. Is Jay Reamersma.
Jay Reamersma.
That was my guy. I heard his name a lot. I really liked him as a tight end. That was to me, that was the last time I had ever heard a tight end be like a name that got called a lot, that got a lot of touchdowns. You know what I'm saying? So it was like since that point, anytime I looked for a tight end play, it was like, where's the tight ends? Why is name blocking? What's that for? Why? You know what I'm saying? Here's where it gets a little sticky. Lindsay said time travel probably jade his pants a couple times speaking Mahomes in the Chiefs name. Oh my gosh. The time traveler, we are fun. We having fun right now. We are fun. Here's where it's gonna get kind of crazy. A lot of these guys, so some of these guys are not in the positions that they played most of their careers in.
But you're gonna put them there.
But I put them there because they have played those positions before for the Bills.
Got you.
Okay. At left tackle, I got Jonas Jennings. I went with a guy who is not that tall, but a bigger body guy. He's 6'3", 325.
Mm-hmm.
Great run blocker. He actually played with some of the guys from the Super Bowl team. He played with some of those linemen. And he also played right next to Reuben Brown, who is my starting left guard.
Yeah, big Rube.
Now, when I was thinking about building this offensive line, I had to think about who I had as my running backs.
Mm-hmm.
I want to open space for these guys. I want to make their jobs, and I want to make Josh's job as easy as humanly possible, right? So at center, I went with Andy Levitre.
At center, okay, moving from guard. Okay.
At
I see
center.
what you're doing.
The man was a Pro Bowl guard at 6'2", 306 pounds.
He was.
He's a smaller dude, but he was so technically sound, he could move guys, right? For the Titans, Pro Bowler, instantly, right? The only reason I think he didn't win it here was because we weren't doing it. We weren't winning games at the time, so he didn't really get noticed, him and Eric Wood.
That was a nice line, bro. Wood,
Right.
Levitre.
Eric Wood was at guard, bro. We had Eric Wood at guard, Andy Levitre at guard.
Was
and
it
I think
Incognito?
No, it was Jeff Hangartner was the center.
Oh, Hangartner. Okay.
Right? But it didn't matter because you had Wood and you had Levitre. Like, it didn't matter who you had at center. Yeah. But Keyshawn says, but they were talking to him, so I unblocked. But he's gone now. Oh, who did you block, Key?
Traveler?
Probably.
He not with the nonsense.
No, he is not tolerant. No, I'm with it though. I'm in agreement. Okay. Right guard. You ready for this one?
Who you got?
Wyatt Teller.
Oh, whoa.
Wyatt Teller, baby. Yes.
Flag on the play.
Why? Look what he became for the Browns. Everybody regrets that trade.
Hey, he's a Pro Bowler too.
That's what I'm saying. Every last one of the dudes that I got at some point were Pro Bowlers. You can't argue with it, right? Get my run grading blockers on the field. Open up holes for Lynch. Open up holes for Cook. And these are big boys on top of that, except for Levitre. But he's playing center at this point. So as a center, you don't really need to be that big. You just need to know how to play with leverage. And right tackle, I went with Jason Peters.
Yes.
I went with Jason. I had to. Yes. Originally when I started this list and I went to linemen, before I even picked half the players on offense, Jason Peters is at left tackle. I knew I wanted him there. Right. Let's just gonna pencil him in right here, or pin rather. Outside looking at this as wow. Is that wow good or wow bad? Either way, I'm not gonna be offended. But yeah, Jason Peters at right tackle. So that's my line. All big boys, all run graders. Wow. It don't matter who you put up against them boys, they gonna push somebody.
I see what you did. The one that kind of burns for me is the Wyatt Teller, because I know when he was here, we got rid of him.
Yeah.
Right? So, like, when I think of, like, greatest Bills offensive lineman, I don't think about him because it was a miss.
Because he got traded away.
Yeah,
technically a miss.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
He's, like I said,
he was
right now, to this day, he's a Pro Bowler.
That's right. And he was a Bill, so he counts. He still counts. But, yeah, so that was my offense. How you feel about that, Key? Where you at on that? I hope I've made you very upset with my picks. Oh my gosh! All right. Did you have anything else before we get out of here?
No, not really. But just as funny to see the players that all three of us picked were Allen, Moulds,
yep,
Bruce, of course,
Diggs, of course.
Yeah. Diggs. I mean, I had him as my fourth, but
yeah, I had him as my third. Don't feel bad.
Clemens.
Yes, Clemens.
All of us got him on there.
I was so shocked that he had Bird on his man. Mario Williams.
I ain't have Mario.
Let me see. Yeah, I think that's about it. Because I didn't have Thurman Thomas or OJ.
That's nice.
Yeah, that was fun. That was really fun. Outside looking in, no way around Peters. Yeah, you got to have him on the squad. You have to.
I'm surprised Key ain't put Peters down. Cause he's good for like building like them good lines, man.
Yeah, but Peters was playing at like 325, 330s.
Oh yeah,
like,
he ain't big enough.
Right. He wasn't even caring about Peters' name or his play. Like, fat dude, okay, come on.
He's not big enough.
Right.
He was like, ooh, I need that 350. I would have had you, but you ain't 350, so I can't use you.
That's probably the only reason Levitre wasn't on his list. 306, nah.
Get out of here.
You can't do. You're right.
You'll
can't
get tossed
do that.
around.
6'2", nah.
Give me them big boys.
Oh man! All right, let's see if we can get this music working this time. Oh hopefully it works. If not, we gonna go a cappella. Okay, all right, we got the music going. That means I got 90 seconds to get us out of here. So, for all the newcomers, thank y'all so much for tuning in. Keep commenting, keep coming back. You can hit us up on Postpodium Podcast on X or Twitter, whatever one you choose to call it, Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook. We also have Joe D. Yeah. Wait, no, nobody else picked Joe Delamere, except for Keyshawn. Keyshawn says, I mean, we said greatest Bills of all time. You just built a Madden fantasy team. All right, fine. I'm guilty. I don't care. I did it. And guess what? I would win, too. I would win. All right. Thank you for everybody who's been tuning in. Thank you for the comments, the likes, the subscribes. We're almost at 100. And side note, we hit 200 views on one of our videos. I forget which one it is, but we hit 200 views. So thank y'all, man. That's a huge milestone. I was shocked when we hit 100. I'm like, what? Let's go. We were about to bring confetti in here over 100 views, and we got 200 now. And I don't have any more of those like wazoo things. We threw them all out because we used them for New Year's. But man,
next week we get to 500. We get to 500.
Man, listen, can we get to 100 subs? Please, can we get to 100 subs? Like I'm throwing a party in here if that's the case. Like we gonna bring the Pepsi back. We're gonna bring the shot glass. Yes, Lindsay, let's go Buffalo. All right, so let me get us out of here because I gotta go get some dinner. Hit us up. Let us know what you want to hear. We just had a meeting on Sunday about new content and things that we're going to be doing now. So we're going to have some short form content coming out very soon. We are going to be going down to one episode a week for the off season. We'll test that out, see how that goes. If you guys like that, if you don't like, we are going to be clipping some shorts. That's one of the things that we discussed outside looking in. We're gonna be doing that. That's part of the short form video content that we're gonna be putting out. So keep an eye out for that. We're gonna have it divided into like playlists and stuff like that. So when you go to our channel, you can just kind of find it pretty easily and get to whatever it is you like. But let us know what you want to see. Thank you, Outside Looking In. I think that was one of the first times that we got input as far as what you guys want to see. So we definitely want to hear more of that. I'm giving myself a little bit more time with this music because I didn't plan on saying all this. But so let us know what you like. Let us know what you don't like. Does the 2 hours work for you? Does it not work for you? But as far as the one episode a week, we're going to be doing that just to kind of test it out and see how it goes for the off season. And then obviously once more news starts coming out, free agency and stuff like that, then we'll be able to start putting out more episodes. We may just do something a little shorter in terms of like reactions to signings as opposed to doing like whole episodes on it. But again, if you like that, if you don't like that, let us know. We take all this stuff into consideration going into these decisions. That's all I got. You got anything before we get out of here?
Oh man, just shout out to the 200 likes, man. That's awesome. I love that.
Yes. Boz, yes, we are going to cover golf. No, I'm just playing. I don't know. I don't really know much about golf. I've only played like one time, and I go to the driving range from time to time, but I'm not an expert. So hopefully you were joking. For those of you that haven't gone to the page yet, my oldest son, Junie, our producer, has his own YouTube channel. He covers basketball to a degree that you wouldn't believe. This man watches literally every game, and he is on top of the league. And when I say on top of the league, like it could be 9 at night, and he's coming up and talking to me about news that it just came across on his phone. So he's always looking for it, always cooking up. You can find him at Basketball Truth and Knowledge on YouTube. Do you got a Facebook too? All right, he's on Facebook with that page too, so you can find him on Facebook as well. That's all I got. It's because I'm not there to get you hurried up. It is. This is the longest I've taken because Keyshawn ain't here. This is the man. Where you at? Where you at? No, I'm just playing. All right. So with that being said, this has been the Post Podium Podcast, home of the all truth, no sodium takes. I have been your co-host Aramis,
Melly Mac,
and our producer Junie over there. Thank y'all for watching. We are out.
Dope.